Good evening, I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Former 11-year NBA player Damon Jones was arrested today amid charges that he allegedly disclosed privileged injury information about LeBron James to facilitate illegal sports betting. Jones was one of 34 people arrested along with Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. This was part of a years-long investigation spanning nearly a dozen states involving a wide-ranging of incidents related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games involving tens of millions of dollars. In other news, tonight in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings visit the LA Chargers at 8:15. The Vikings have activated running back Aaron Jones from the IR for tonight's game. This update was sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Look at that, he's standing away. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side, going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Oh, yeah. Great to be back with you guys. Dylan Tyrer filling in for Brandon Beam. Pat Murphy is with me. Isaiah Jacob running the show for us. It is Thursday, October 23rd. Man, there is no sports news out there today. Absolutely nothing going on, right, Pat?
No, I have no idea what we'll talk about, Buckeye or otherwise.
It's good to see you again. I mean, it's been, I think, a month or so since you and I have last done a Buckeye show together. The Ohio State football team has looked dynamite since then. I think the last time we talked, we were kind of coming off of that Texas game, and it was another Ohio State bye week at that point.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of thinking about what this season is going to be for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Is Julian Sayin the real deal? Is this defense the real deal? What's going to happen with the Ohio State running game? And man, oh man, those questions have been answered, I think, tenfold. Everything looks great right now, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. But you know, I'm happy with how it looks for the Buckeyes. That's for sure.
For sure. I mean, look, you're 7-0. Could there be little things that we're nitpicking because you're winning? Absolutely. And like that's what you have to do, and that's what Ryan Day and his staff are doing this week. But look around the country. Like there aren't many undefeated teams left, and some teams that you thought were going to be really good, Penn State, aren't at all good. You've got some teams that probably still are good but have taken a loss, you know, Miami, Oregon. So, look, Ohio State's best thing that they've done this year, have they looked explosive every time they take the field? No, not always. Some of that is dictated by the defense, but they've gone out, they've had the right approach in every game, and they executed. I did the math earlier today, and they're winning by like 28 points a game or something. Now, that's inflated some by the 70-0 game against Grambling State, but I mean, it's been comfortable win after comfortable win. Even, you know, you could argue last week they sort of ho-hummed their way through that Wisconsin game. They win by 34 points. You know, 2 weeks before that, you're on the road against a ranked team, you know, and I'm sure people have different feelings about Illinois, but they were a ranked team, and I think they deserve to be, and you win by 18. So, you know, it reminds me of talking to people that covered or were fans of Alabama during the run. And I'm not saying Ohio State's going to go on a run like Nick Saban's group did, but it just was like, it became almost boring's not the right word because everyone loves winning, but just like you expect so much out of this team. And if they don't do everything perfectly, there are things that get talked to, you know, Nick Saban called it rat poison, right? For a reason. So, I think just, you know, enjoy it as much as possible right now because this team's rolling and, you know, could somebody trip them up? Maybe, but that's why you have a 12-team playoff now.
You're right about that. We've got a lot of good stuff on this evening's show. I'm fired up for it. We've got some Buckeye basketball news. Andy Anders of 11 Warriors is going to be joining us at 6:30 to talk about the Ohio State basketball season that is quite literally just around the corner. Yeah. They've got an exhibition game coming up on Sunday against Ohio University. We've got some college football talk throughout the program. Stephen Means of Cleveland.com will join us to talk some Buckeyes. I know he is big on a Julian Sayin Heisman Trophy this season, so I'm really interested and excited to talk to him about that. And on top of everything, I think right now is just about as good as it gets in terms of a calendar for a sports fan. You've got the World Series, the NBA just starting. The NHL is in full swing right now. College football, college basketball almost here. The NFL, so much good stuff going on right now. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on as well. Speaking of good stuff, I think our long nightmare here in Columbus is over. One of the premier Roosters locations, the Olentangy
Yes.
River Road Roosters location, is back open as of today. For me, that was the Roosters location. When I was a student at Ohio State, that was the spot to get your wings. That was the spot to go hang out, watch sports. And from everything that I've heard, they've revamped that spot, new TVs, new party rooms, all new. Everything is new. So it sounds pretty good over there. I'm going to have to get over there and enjoy a game at some point.
Yeah, it's been sad driving down Olentangy, and it's just shut down because it's been a year now or something.
Yeah,
So,
it's a year.
yeah, because you're right. It is a place like, as a student, I imagine they still go there when you want Roosters. And just like there's been plenty of times when we've had a group, leaving the Woody after, especially like the fall camp practices or spring practices, end right about lunchtime. And it's like, you could go grab El Vaquero, you could go grab Roosters. Like, you have some options over there. And so it's nice that that's going to be back open because you need your chicken over there.
Absolutely. Isaiah, have you frequented that Olentangy River Road Roosters?
That's like the closest one to my house. And when it first closed down, like over a year ago, I kept going there. Like, accidentally, me and my girlfriend would say, I want to go get Roosters. And so I would just type in the directions, whatever. And then we'd start driving there. And then I think there was 3 separate occasions where we were doing things and we just kept going there. And I'd keep on showing up and realizing it isn't open. Like, the first month that it was closed, I went there probably 3 consecutive weekends thinking it was going to be open and it never was. So I'll be glad that I can go there now and they'll actually be able to serve me.
That's unreal. What's the go-to for you guys? Like, what is the wings order? What are we going with? Pat, what's the wings order look like for you?
Yeah, I'm not a super spicy guy, though I have developed more of a taste for it. So I'm usually like a half teriyaki, half like golden, what do they call it?
Like golden barbecue?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah.
You're a St. Louis guy. You got to get that St. Louis barbecue,
Right. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I don't do anything too crazy. I will experiment like buffalo, depending on how hot it is, stuff like that. But yeah, those are probably my 2 most likely orders.
Are we a drums guy, flats guy, boneless, bone in? What are we looking at?
I do bone in, though. Last weekend after the game in Wisconsin, there was a Buffalo Wild Wings right across from our hotel. So we went over there to watch game. We knew they'd have all the games on, and I did get boneless because I was going to be on my computer, and so I didn't want to just like be trying to wipe my hands and all that. But typically, yeah, let's make a mess.
What about you, Isaiah? What's the order for you?
See, for me, it's 100% always the same. 10 traditional hot wings. And then the only place that will go different is for the appetizers. Because at Roosters, I love the appetizers. You're rocking the mac and cheese bites. We're talking fried pickles. Like, there's so many different ones I can choose from that every time you can mix it up and it's always fantastic. But for me, it's always 10 traditional hot. They're a little ranch in there. They have great ranch. And then they're like one of the few ones where usually I'm a drums guy, but because they have the really good flappers, I love the Roosters flappers.
Oh, so that's what you're into, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm a flats guy. I usually I'll do like, I'm kind of with you where I like a honey barbecue or a golden barbecue. So I'll do like 6 or so of those, then maybe 6 kind of buffalo. So maybe like a medium style wing. That's the go-to for me. I'm not like the biggest dry rub guy either.
Right. I'll do that
like
every
sauce.
once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something different. But yes, more often than not, I'm loading up the sauce and ranch. Yes, I forgot to mention that. You gotta have the ranch.
I gotta say what's up to our chat as well, folks in the chat. Hello. If you have a Roosters order that you want to toss in there, go for it. I like to know what people get because I'm going out there and I want to try some new things. I've got a question for you guys as well. So. I recently got married. It's my wife's birthday tomorrow.
Congrats to both of you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. What she wants to do for her birthday is get like a good sandwich in Columbus, which I really respect. That's something that I think both of us, she and I, are new into right now, is that rather than going to like a really nice or expensive dinner meal for a special occasion, we're kind of into just like eating something you normally wouldn't eat. Like I'm a big, let's go out to breakfast and I'm going to eat a bunch of pancakes, or I want to just eat something disgusting that I would never eat that's bad for me. So what she wants to do, and this doesn't necessarily quite go into that range, but she wants to get a very good sandwich in Columbus.
Are you talking sandwich or like a sub? Or does it matter?
It doesn't quite matter, but she is thinking a sub, I believe. So we like Warriors. She has never gotten an actual cheesesteak in person, fresh from Warriors. Okay. So that's kind of where we are leaning.
Yeah, that was my first. Like, okay, what's a Columbus sort of place that is different in terms of being really good? Warriors was the first one that popped into my mind. There's a Peruvian sandwich place over in Grandview on 5th called Si Senor.
Oh, they've got one right across from Nationwide Arena now.
Oh, do they?
Oh,
okay.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's very good. That's not really subs, but I also, it's more of a chain, but DeBella's.
I love DeBella's.
Yeah. I will say I have at least the one by me. Like, it's very hit or miss on the service when I get there. I'll order online, I'll get there, and I'll still wait 20 minutes sometimes. But the food is worth it, so I frequent there. But yeah, if she hasn't had that from Warriors, it might be the time to give that a shot if she's up for it.
Yeah, it's not DeBella's. So there's the one. Well, let's see. There's the little shopping center like right off of 5th, right across the river. There's an apartment complex over there right into Grandview. What's the sandwich shop there? They've got one that I really like. I don't think it's DeBella's, but they've got like a cowboy sandwich, it's called. Oh my god, I really like that sandwich.
There is a DeBella's right across there, but not, I think you're thinking further down.
Yeah, what is that place? I can't think of the name right now.
On 5th Avenue?
Yes.
There's that's where Jimmy V's is. That's where Press Pub is. I'm trying to think of which one it would be here.
No, it's back towards the river a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm on a tangent right now, but hey, if anybody can think of the place that I'm thinking of, fire it into the chat. Yeah, maybe Potbelly. No, it's DeBella's. I'm thinking of DeBella's. Okay. Potbelly is the other one. I'm getting them confused.
Yeah, Potbelly also good, but again, also a chain.
Yeah, and there's a new place called Caroline's, I think, in the North Market that looks very, very good as well. Right. So I'm going to have to try that.
They got rid of Hot Chicken Takeovers. So.
Yes, they did. No comment on that.
Just sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad what happened there. We want to talk a little bit of NFL. Enough sandwich talk, right? So we're going to take a little bit of a break right now, but we've got Thursday Night Football. That's actually what we're going into tonight. So when our show wraps up, we'll have the Vikings-Chargers. Not necessarily a ton of Ohio State interest in that game, but one Buckeye right now is on pace to make NFL history this season. We'll tell you about that next. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
With autumn's arrival, ISA certified arborists recommend that fallen leaves be left alone or mulched to improve plant health. When leaves decay, they transform into organic matter absorbed by the soil to become moisture to trees through their roots, which helps trees weather drought conditions. Leaves are also a natural habitat for butterflies, chipmunks, earthworms, and others, which increases the population of beneficial insects for the next growing season. To learn more about the benefits of autumn leaves, contact an ISA certified arborist near you by going to trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
This time of year, it's all or nothing, and Toyota's got all you need during Toyota Truck Month. Now through November 3rd, get 1.75 APR financing or $3,000 customer cash on a powerful new 25 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a 25 Tundra SR Crew Max for $409 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Save time, reduce costs, and eliminate printer frustrations with modern office methods. Your award-winning managed print services provider. We know how to help your business reduce the cost of office printing by identifying necessary print and paper waste. We can improve your printer fleet and decrease the amount of printer frustration. Why wait? Start saving time and money today. Start with our comprehensive print fleet assessment by going to momnet.com and click on free assessment.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Can't get enough of your favorite fan content? Good news, we're on all the digitals. Follow 971 The Fan on X, Facebook, YouTube, The Talk, and Gram. Your digital home for endless shenanigans. The Fan.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Plenty of clouds around, breezy, cool but dry on this Thursday. Temperatures in the low to mid 50s. Overnight we'll drop back down to the low 30s. Now freeze warning in effect, and that's why we have a 10 weather impact alert for your Friday morning. As we go through the day Friday, plenty of sunshine, light winds, and highs in the upper 50s, and a great night for the last regular season of high school football. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
The only radio show that bleeds scarlet and gray. This is the Buckeye Show.
Buckeyes in the NFL. I mean, there are so many good Ohio State players in the NFL right now. I'm not sure any of them is quite better than Jackson Smith-Njigba. This guy is absolutely unbelievable right now. I think he's kind of cementing himself as a top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League. Have you heard what he's on pace to do this season, Pat?
Lay it on me.
He is on pace for 1,989 receiving yards this season. That would break Calvin Johnson's all-time record of 1,964 yards in a single season. They've got one more game now,
yes,
so
right.
Maybe not quite as impressive as what Calvin Johnson did, but I mean, if you're putting up close to 2K receiving yards, you're doing something special. I don't care how many games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jackson's been great. There were questions going into the season, like what that would all look like. They brought Sam Darnold in. They brought in Cooper Kupp, who I can tell you is not the Cooper Kupp of a few years ago when the Rams won the Super Bowl. And so what would this look like? How good could he be? And I think he has like a 37% target share, which is just absurd. You'd think at this point other teams would do like what they're doing to Jeremiah Smith in college football and just like, hey, anyone else on this team can beat us. And he's still finding ways to get open. The chemistry with Sam Darnold has been really good. So it's been really, really cool to see, especially given we didn't get that last year with Jackson really because of the hamstring injury in the opening game. So you got a really good season his sophomore year, but it's almost kind of like, ooh, what could have been with him and Marv and Emeka that year if all three had been able to stay healthy.
Well, they were kind of talking about that the other night on Monday Night Football, saying that when they had talked to C.J. Stroud, he was like, this guy is the best receiver of them all, talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba, which, I mean, that's almost unbelievable to think about. But you think about what the Seahawks have done. You know, they traded away DK Metcalf, who I think has proven this year to really be a guy. Like, we knew he was a good receiver, but was he truly that number one in Pittsburgh? I think he's kind of showcasing that with Aaron Rodgers, right? But the Seahawks had so much faith in Jackson Smith and Jigba that, hey, this guy is more than just a slot guy. We can set him up wherever really we want in this offense, and he is going to succeed, and he's showing exactly that, which I think is very, very cool for a guy like that I don't know if it's necessarily that he's forgotten among all of the other Ohio State wide receivers. Of course, you have Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out. You have J.J. Smith right now at Ohio State. Everybody's already forecasting what that guy is going to be like in the NFL. But, you know, Jackson Smith and Jigba, I don't know if it's that he's out west either, that maybe you don't think about him as much, but he has really, really introduced himself to this conversation of being one of the truly elite wide receivers in the NFL. But that leads me into my question, you know, for both of you guys, both Pat and Isaiah, which Buckeye in the NFL right now, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be a wide receiver or really anybody on offense, but what Buckeye in the NFL right now do you think is in the best situation? Because Jackson's is pretty darn good. I think Emeka Egbuka's situation is pretty darn good, but there are a lot of guys out there that they're in pretty intriguing positions.
Yeah. One that I have talked about going all the way to the offseason is Jordan Hancock, and he has played he only has 2 tackles this year. He's played mostly on special teams, but I think give him some time in that Bills system there. I think he's going to be really, really good. Is he in the best situation? I don't know. That's
like a deep cut. I like that poll though.
Yeah, I just really liked him coming into the draft, obviously, and what he did at Ohio State, sort of playing that nickel spot, being able to play safety, being able to play corner, do a little bit of everything. And then when he goes to the Bills, I'm like, that's a team that, you know, teams are going to throw on them. They need defensive backs always. DeMar Hamlin obviously being a name that people know for what happened a couple years ago, but they have some guys that are getting a bit older, Taylor Rapp. So I think he's set up for success. Maybe not this year, but in the future. Taylor Decker at Detroit, playing left tackle. Yeah, I mean, like, look, you're playing with a really good quarterback in Jared Goff. He's had some injuries this season, but like, that's a guy who could be on his way to winning a Super Bowl here, if not this year, in one of the years to come. You mentioned Emeka. Like, look, how perfect could it be to work with guys like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans? I know both of those guys have had injuries this year, which has forced Emeka to kind of be a bigger part of the offense than I think he probably would have been. But still, you're working with those guys. Baker has proven to be, cover your ears, Browns fans, really, really good. And so you've got a sort of a runway here with a chance to make a run, especially if these guys can stay healthy. I'd say those are probably. I'm trying to think through some other guys. If another name pops up, I'll bring it up.
I'd be curious to see what happens with Chris Olave. Like, his name has been out there around some potential trade rumors. He is in a bad situation right now on a bad team with the Saints. But if you put that guy in a different offense, I think you're seeing him in maybe a little bit different of a light. I've got a couple. I think Terry McLaurin's in a tremendous situation because obviously he just got paid. He has missed a lot of time this season due to injury, but I think the struggles of that Washington offense without him, I know Jaden Daniels has dealt with some issues as well, but he's part of the reason this is a good situation. Their struggles without Terry McLaurin prove to me that he is a focal point of that offense, that they need him. And he also has a good young quarterback going forward. So I think he's in a pretty darn good position, Terry McLaurin. And one off the board for me is maybe Jonah Jackson at guard right now for the Chicago Bears. That running game has really come along in the last couple of weeks. He has been a huge part of that. And you think about that interior offensive line. He's got Drew Dahlman at center, who's one of the better centers in the league. Then he's got Joe Tooney at the other guard. He's one of the greatest guards of all time. So, the ability to create an interior unit with those guys, learn a little bit from Joe Tooney. I know Jonah's been in the NFL for a few years now, but, it really looks like they're building something in Chicago right now, and he is a big part of that. And it's a little bit of a reclamation project there, Jonah Jackson going there. It didn't quite work out for him with the LA Rams. Yeah. So now he's with the Bears, back with Ben Johnson. He was successful in Detroit with Ben Johnson in that offense. So now he's there with Chicago, and I think we're seeing a little bit of new life for Jonah Jackson in that offense and in his career. So that's maybe a deeper cut one. You have any, Isaiah?
Yeah, one that I thought of, too, is someone that I think Buckeye fans love, but I think going into the NFL, his start was, horrible just because of some injuries. J.K. Dobbins landing with Denver.
It's a great call.
We saw him in Baltimore not really be able to do anything because of so many injuries. Goes to the Chargers last year, has a pretty fantastic year, and then goes to the Broncos, where it was kind of a weird fit because they just drafted R.J. Harvey. You're not really sure what his role is going to be, and then he kind of aligns pretty well with Sean Payton and what he's able to do this year, actually utilizing him. So seeing him kind of a reclamation project just because of the injuries and being able to turn it on. And then the other one, too, a fantastic landing spot, even though my team, horrible with the Browns, but Quinshon Judkins, they are using him like they should, because he's pretty much the only offensive weapon that's able to do anything. But he's getting the carries right now that I think we, as Ohio State fans, were hoping that Travion might have had a bigger impact, kind of like Quinshon did this season. So we're still kind of waiting on him with the Patriots, but I think Judkins is in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, somebody called out Travion Henderson in the chat, Phil J. And, I would agree that looking forward, that's a pretty good spot, I think. It looks like the Patriots are going to be good, but we haven't quite seen that pop from Travion Henderson yet, whereas I'm with you. I think Judkins is a great call-out. He has been used as a true bell cow since he's come back and been active for them. And I really like the J.K. Dobbins call-out, too, because I was surprised. I know they drafted Omarion Hampton, but for the Chargers to move on from Dobbins after he did put together a nice season last year, I was surprised, and I thought it was going to work all the way in Denver. And, the way they're utilizing him, it certainly has. I think a lot of people hyped up R.J. Harvey and were saying, hey, they're going to use this guy a ton. I was always like, let's wait a second here. Sean Payton, he has got the veteran back here in J.K. Dobbins. I think they'll utilize him, and so far they have, and he has been tremendous to this point. That's Buckeyes in the NFL. We've got a lot going on the hardwood right now. The Buckeyes made some big news earlier this week, landing one of potentially the best recruits in the history of the Ohio State basketball program, and we're actually going to discuss that next with Andy Anders of 11 Warriors. He's joining us after a quick break. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Hi, I'm Rick Germain for Toyota West. And with over 600 new and pre-owned vehicles available, Toyota West at I-270 and Georgesville Road has the car you're looking for. And right now at Toyota West, take advantage of 0 down and 0 payments until 2026. And every pre-owned vehicle comes with a 72-hour exchange policy plus a 3-month warranty for qualified vehicles. Come see us at the Germain Auto Mall on Georgesville Road or get started today at ToyotaWest.com. Offer expires 10/31. No payments for deferred payment. Interest accrues at time of inception with approved credit.
Buckeye fans, introducing Behind the O, the brand new app packed with original athlete and fan-driven Ohio State sports content. It's free to download in the App Store on iOS and Android, and every time you open it, you're helping generate NIL dollars for your favorite Buckeye athletes with zero cost to you. Get exclusive access to fresh behind-the-scenes videos, training routines, athlete lifestyles, and more from every Ohio State sport. Don't wait. Download Behind the O now and get closer to your Buckeyes than ever before.
Behind the O, free for fans, NIL for athletes.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town-properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Welcome back to the Buckeye Show. I'm Dylan Tyrer filling in for Brandon Beam. Pat Murphy is with me. Our producer is Isaiah Jacob. And right now we're excited to be joined by Andy Anders of 11 Warriors. And Andy is here to talk about a huge Ohio State basketball signing. They've signed 5-star small forward Anthony Thompson, the number 8 overall prospect in the 2026 class. Andy, first off, thanks for being with us. What do we think about this Ohio State signee, Anthony Thompson?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And I'd say, this is such a boost of momentum. It's a giant win, not just in terms of the talent that Anthony Thompson brings to Ohio State, but also just a big boost of momentum for a program that, let's face it, hasn't had a ton of momentum in recent years, missing the NCAA tournament 3 years in a row. And while the on-court stuff has to bear out to build on some of the momentum that you gain on the recruiting trail, this is a massive win, and frankly, the type of recruitment that can buy you a little more, I don't know if leeway is the right word, but definitely a little more like appreciation from fans, a little more time as a coach when you're able to bring in 5-star talents, a guy who frankly could be an NBA draft lottery pick within a year or two.
All right, so you said it right there, a potential lottery pick in the NBA. So that's high praise, high expectations. I know we're a year away from seeing this guy in Columbus, but what are the expectations? What does he bring?
Yeah, sky high. I mean, 6'8", but a 7'3" wingspan at the small forward position. And I think you have to start there with the athleticism, runs the floor super well, great length. And the skill set is just off the charts. I mean, this is a guy who on the Adidas 3 Stripes Select Circuit averaged 22 points per game, shot 53% from the field and 39% from the three-point line with 1.9 blocks and 1.6 steals per game. Offensively, defensively, this guy makes an impact on both ends of the floor for you. Again, the athleticism is there, and with proper development, I mean, he can really be an instant impact guy when you look at both the athletic traits and the skill set.
Andy, looking at the team that's about to tip off here in the next, week or so, who outside of Bruce Thornton do you think is the most important guy for this Buckeye team this season?
That's a good question, and I think it obviously, the word important is important there, to make a bit of a joke. But I think the biggest star outside of Bruce and the guy who's going to be the biggest driver of success for the team is going to be John Mobley Jr. We've gotten to watch 2 open practices, and he has clearly built on some of the things he showed last year. The shooting looks even better, and I know last year it kind of went hot and cold. Like he started off the year real hot, kind of had some lulls in Big Ten play where he wasn't shooting as well from 3. But, I mean, he's had some moments in these practices we've gotten to watch where he's looking like Steph Curry and hitting contested deep shots. It's been something to watch, and he was their leading scorer in the secret scrimmage against Tennessee, quote unquote secret scrimmage against Tennessee. I think he's going to take a big step.
We lose Andy there? Uh-oh, I think we lost some connection with Andy if he can still hear us. Hopefully we can get him back. Isaiah, keep us up to date with what's going on back there if you could. We'll try and get Andy Anders back on for you guys, but talking a little bit of Ohio State basketball with him right there. And, he was talking about that secret scrimmage that Ohio State had. Yeah. Have you heard much about that? What went on at the secret scrimmage?
Yeah, I think Jake Diebler talked a little bit about it today on the Ryan Day show, which wasn't a Ryan Day show because there was no Ryan Day. And just Tennessee, that's a good defensive team typically. He said both teams still are, the offenses are ahead, but they were able to move the ball, got up and down. I think this team's going to play a lot faster this year. I think they're set up to do that. John Mobley, the guy that Andy was just talking about, Buckeye fans got a little bit of him, well, more than a little bit, but I think you only saw him scratch the surface there with what he's able to do. It sounds like they were, they lost the 2 halves that they played, but then won this sort of third period, which was situational. So I think it was close. I think it's a positive sign. And, look, it's a secret scrimmage, right? I don't think we should take too much out of it, but you definitely do want to see some positives.
All right, I think we've got Andy back. Andy, thanks for being back with us. Sorry we got broken up right there.
Yeah, no problem. I think I just lost reception in my apartment, it looks like. So glad to be back aboard.
We were talking with Andy Anders of 11 Warriors about the upcoming Ohio State basketball season. Andy, I'm intrigued by Matthew Grujic. I know you wrote about him earlier today. Can we expect anything from him this year? Like, is he going to play a role on this Ohio State team?
Maybe off the bench. I think – that feature was largely just I had a great interview with the guy, and he's a very interesting human, he's fluent in 5 languages, at least understanding them, speaks 4 of them fluently, he'd tell you. Grew up loving 80s and 90s NBA hoops. His dad played professional basketball in Serbia. I think, based on some of the things I've heard and some of the things that Jake Diebler has indicated, it is taking some time for him to acclimate to the speed and the step up in competition he faces in the collegiate game. Most of his experience with Barcelona last year in Spain was in the 4th tier of Spanish professional basketball. So it's not, you're playing a mix of guys there, and the college game is definitely going to be faster and something you have to acclimate to. That being said, he is another guy with 6'7" length, can handle and shoot really well. He's a very skilled player. I just think he's got some things to work on defensively, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him play a good role off the bench and maybe even find a good rhythm and be a solid contributor for the team by year's end.
A year ago, we were talking about the guys the Buckeyes got in the transfer portal. I think that's a conversation we're going to have pretty much every year. But there was excitement because they were, a couple former 5-stars, guys from Duke, guy from Kentucky. This year, the names probably aren't as recognizable. Maybe they're not McDonald's All-Americans. But what do you make of this transfer portal class that Jake Diebler brought in?
Yeah, honestly, to start with, I think it's something that's going to really make or break this second season for Jake, in my estimation, because you're relying on 2 guys who are a group of 5 guys to come and be your starters in the front court, right? Brandon Knoll at the 4 and Christoph Tilley at the 5, where you have 3 guys who you feel good about who have produced for you in the past at 1 through 3, Bruce Thornton, John Mobley Jr., Devin Royal. Where last year they were taking a shot at guys who were 5-star prospects, but who, fizzled out at those blue bloods. This is the other approach where you're taking guys with a lot of experience, with a lot of proven production. Christoph Tilley, Brandon Knoll, these guys were both one of the leading scorers on their teams. Christoph Tilley at Santa Clara, Brandon Knoll at Wright State. Obviously, it's a big step up in competition to the Big Ten, and it's going to be about fitting that in, learning how to approach that game, dealing with Big Ten bigs especially. The one thing you really like, at least, is that they're a lot bigger than last year, where you had Sean Stewart starting most of your games at center, the 6'8" guy, and now you have a 7-footer in Christoph Tilley. His rebounding numbers, his defensive numbers weren't as great as I would have liked to have seen from a 7-footer playing at Santa Clara. But it's been super impressive to watch him in practice, because this is a true stretch 5, I think. He has shot the 3 really well whenever you watch him. He had good 3-point shooting numbers at Santa Clara. He's skilled. He actually has the post game, which I think they were definitely lacking last year with those 2 guys, Stewart and Bradshaw. Brandon Knoll has a real diverse skill set. Definitely my quandaries with both of them come defensively. Knoll is a more productive rebounder for Wright State, I feel like. But Christoph Tilley, I honestly have some confidence in being a guy who can give them actual scoring production, offensive production at that 5 spot. And so if he can handle the physicality of Big Ten forwards, I think you have a 4th guy there with your 3 in the backcourt that are going to be a nice core you can establish and have a bona fide NCAA tournament team with, if it fits and works out the right way.
Well, that sounds good. And I feel like there has been some frustration for a while now in that, Ohio State can't really find that true big. So I like what I'm hearing from you on that regard. As far as it goes with just, general expectations for the Buckeyes this season, this is going to be a very, very competitive Big Ten. There are a lot of teams in that, 10 to 20 range, obviously top teams, other squads receiving votes in that kind of area. What do you think about the Buckeyes this year? What do you think it's going to look like?
Yeah, I think it's going to be I expect a step from last year for the reasons I've talked about. You return your three most important players, guys who were your best producers last season, other than maybe Micah Parrish, but you return those three guys, have a strong established backcourt, and then I do think at the very least the front court will be a slight upgrade. I mean, Aaron Bradshaw missed a lot of the season, didn't do a whole lot when he was in the game. Sean Stewart was constantly in foul trouble and didn't give you much on the offensive end. I think they will be better than last year, and last year they were right on the edge of making the NCAA tournament. I think the NCAA tournament should be the bare minimum expectation for this team in year two under Jake Diebler. And then I think with the experience of this, about starting 4 of 5 spots in the starting lineup are now upperclassmen, and the fifth guy is a sophomore who had a big freshman year. This is a team that it's fair to hold them to the standard of the bare minimum NCAA tournament. But I see a ceiling of a team that could make a little run, make a little noise in the NCAA tournament, maybe finish in the upper quadrant of the Big Ten rather than middle of the pack, I think the first Sweet 16 in over a decade is not off the table. I think they have that potential, but front court pieces are really where it's got to click.
Well, I hope you're right on all that. I hope we're getting a fun Ohio State basketball season and a team that makes things interesting in the Big Ten. Andy, I really appreciate it. Thanks for working through some of those technical struggles as well. It was good to hear from you and talk a little Buckeye basketball. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
All right, that is Andy Anders of 11 Warriors talking some Buckeye hoops. Of course, they've got an exhibition matchup against Ohio University that is coming up on Sunday. I think you can catch that one on Big Ten Plus, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you can watch on Big Ten Plus. Subscription required for that, but if you're itching to see your basketball Bucks, that is how to do it this weekend. We are switching over to the gridiron next. I want to play a little contender or pretender as far as it goes with the college football playoff. I get it, the Buckeyes are on bye, but there's plenty of other stuff going on the college football slate this week. So that's what's next. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hey, Aaron, what are we going to do with these 41 new trucks you bought?
Those extra trucks are to make sure that we can always send someone to the rescue when a customer needs us.
Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians to the rescue.
Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna keep you warm all winter HVAC technicians.
Get Eco. ECO. Aaron, you bought those 41 new trucks at exactly the right time.
I know, Jerry, because everyone, everywhere, is needing help with their furnace right now.
Summertime is when furnaces develop problems.
The contacts and relays and sensors get all wonky.
Because summertime is when furnaces are not being used.
And our technicians can unwonk them.
Get Eco.
ECO. If you need someone to unwonk your furnace, get Eco.
Our technicians can unwonk anything.
And with 41 new trucks, they can get there fast. Give it away, plumbers, genius electricians, and gonna keep you warm all winter HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
College football is more chaotic than ever. New rivals, new rules, and a brand new season of Fansville. Are you fan enough to handle the drama? Then grab an ice-cold Dr. Pepper from your local Kroger and buckle up for the season. College football. It's a Pepper thing. College football fans, listen up. You can catch Carnell Tate and Dr. Pepper on November 17th. We'll be at the new Kroger at 7525 Gardwell Street in Powell from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Stop by to get your photo with Carnell Tate. See you there.
This October, eliminate chili drafts for good with Window Nation. Right now, when you buy 2 replacement windows, you'll get 2 for free. Plus, pay nothing for 2 whole years. Hurry, this sale ends October 31st. Schedule your free estimate now at windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Bishop and Friends.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you.
I know. You're going to tell me it's like you're my wife.
You're like my kid.
You're like my wife, and I'm not going to listen.
You're like my kid.
I'm just telling you.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Seller.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Hey, Buckeyes, I'm John Chabot with Surest, a digital-first health plan designed to make healthcare simple and affordable right here in Ohio. At Surest, we believe healthy small businesses are vital to our economy. That's why we're ready to give your small business a VIP opportunity through our small business sweepstakes. Winners will be recognized on the sideline at an Ohio State home football game. To enter, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Surest. That's SUREST. Surest, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com.
A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in. Like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors that get the job done right. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Find your local Kubota dealer at BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Lots of Buckeye talk this evening, and right now we're talking Ohio State football. Dylan Tyrer, Pat Murphy, Isaiah Jacob with you. And Pat, with the Buckeyes off this week, I know there are lots of eyeballs on the rest of the college football world. There are some big-time matchups this weekend. It kind of has me thinking we're a couple weeks away from the college football playoff rankings coming out. So I want to play a little game of contender or pretender with you.
Okay.
You know, we're going to venture into the top 10, but I'm kind of really looking at these 10 to 20, 10 to 25 teams. And I mean, we've even got some teams receiving votes that they might enter that conversation. Like you've got the Navies of the world, the San Diego States of the world that have put together some nice seasons so far, and they could make a little bit of noise. Ohio State obviously is not going to be in this. Ohio State's the defending national champions. They're, of course, a contender.
Pretty good.
I'm also not even going to entertain Indiana because I don't want to do that all over again. Last year, I know so many people wanted to call them a pretender, and some people, I guess, maybe will even call them a pretender. I was of the belief that Indiana deserved to be in the college football playoff last year. I know it didn't work out for them in the end, but they put together a nice year. Curt Cignetti, I mean, who comes in and just does that in 1 year at a program, right? And what he's doing this year is even more unbelievable. They've, of course, got Fernando Mendoza, who looks like the absolute real deal at quarterback. So after the wins that we've seen from Indiana this year, Illinois, Oregon, I think they're absolutely a contender, so I'm not even going to get into this. Texas A&M, another undefeated team right now, 7-0. And I do have to ask you on this one because I am always I'm not so sure about Texas A&M guy because they can never quite seem to get over that hump to me, similar to the way that we haven't quite seen Penn State be able to get over that hump. Is this a legit year for Texas A&M? Is this team a squad that could make college football playoff noise?
I think they can. You look at their schedule. I mean, thus far, they've only played Notre Dame as the one-ranked team. In the SEC, they've had a pretty easy start with Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, and Arkansas. And it gets more difficult. You got LSU on the road this weekend. You go to Missouri on November 8th. You go to Texas to end the regular season, which is a bit of a rivalry game there. It's not Texas OU, but it certainly means something to the people in that state. So we're going to learn a lot about this team over the sort of second half of the season here, starting this weekend. But look, when you're undefeated at this point in the season, I think it says something about what you've done. Like we were talking about with the Buckeyes earlier, you have to go out and execute every week. We've seen teams lose. So I think this is a team that will be, at the very least, in and around that conversation come the final Saturday of the regular season and that Sunday when they make the playoff field. It's just going to be a matter of, like, can you win 3 really big road, or at least win 2 of these 3, or win 1 of the 3 but have 1 be really close? Those type of things I think are going to be the difference for Texas A&M.
All right, next up for me here, a kind of combination: Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Each of these teams is 6-1. Do we see any of these teams as a pretender? Because if we're talking about Texas A&M and we're talking about these other SEC squads, that's a lot in the college football playoff, right? That's a lot of SEC in a 12-team playoff. Do you see everybody getting in, or is one of these teams maybe kind of looking out?
I think Ole Miss is probably the team looking out, and I don't want to just say that because they're the least like brand recognition, but I think Alabama's really started to find something. Yeah. I think they have a quarterback in that can be a Heisman. King. Yeah, they can be a Heisman guy. I think Georgia's defense, it may not have the dudes of a few years ago because almost all of them are playing for the Philadelphia Eagles and winning Super Bowls, but they are playing really well. It is one of the better defenses in the SEC in a conference that isn't the elite defenses that we used to see. If you watch SEC games, there's a lot of guys running wide open, but that's a different conversation. So Ole Miss, to me, is probably the one that's on the outside looking in. But again, I look at their schedule. They play at Oklahoma this weekend, but then you've got South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida at home, and then the rivalry game, the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State. So not murderer's row there to make a run if you're going to do it.
There are a few of these teams in the SEC if you really look at it, because you brought up Oklahoma, they're 6-1. Yeah. Vanderbilt is a team that really intrigues me. They're 6-1. You've got Tennessee at 5-2, Mizzou at 6-1. Mm-hmm. It's got to be kind of a war of attrition at some point where these teams are going to beat up on each other and really the cream is going to rise. So there are some other teams there that I would like to talk about. We don't necessarily have the time for it. But what about, we've got BYU ranked 11th right now. They're another perfect team right now at 7-0. Could we legitimately see BYU in the college football playoff this year?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have one group of 5, right? Or group of 6, I guess now. And, coming off a big win against Utah last week, I wasn't able to watch a ton of that game, but we caught some of it. And, I mean, that's a rivalry. You just win that game. It doesn't matter how it looks. They've got the potential to be like a Boise State of last year, to be that team that gets in. And, there'll be other ones. They don't have an easy schedule going forward. At Iowa State, at Texas Tech, who's number 14. They have to go to Cincinnati as well, and they've got TCU and UCF at home. So Cincinnati, another team that's sort of in that conversation of can you work your way into the playoff, and they're playing pretty well.
All right, talk to me about some of these ACC teams. Like, we have a surprise Virginia team at 6-1 this season. Louisville coming off a huge victory over Miami. They are 5-1. I mean, Miami has got to still be in the equation at 5-1, right? Even though they got beaten. What do we think from that conference? What's going to happen there?
Not Clemson, I can tell you that.
Geez, man, oh man. They were that was such a hot team coming into the season. Everybody's like, well, look at this D line, look at the defense in general. You've got Klubnik coming back. Man, that has been a disappointment.
Yeah, I agree. But of the teams you asked, I mean, I think Miami is the clear favorite here. I know they lost last week. It was coming off a bye. It was a Friday night game. It just never looked like they had much juice. Carson Beck, like if you get a good Carson Beck, he's really good.
Yeah.
But he has that fluctuation, and you saw that on Friday. He threw 4 picks, and they lose by 3? Like, that says something about the rest of your team,
That's
right?
fair.
And so, like, if this were a week ago and we were talking about it, I probably would have said I don't think Miami's actually the number 2 team in the country. But I do think they have some real talent. They have really invested in the trenches down there, and I mean that both in terms of players and financially, now that they can legally do that. But I think Miami is I think they're probably underranked at 9. They were probably overranked at 2, but they're somewhere in between there. Louisville, like, can you bottle that and what you did on Friday night and turn it into something?
They've got a guy who can play in Miller Moss.
Yeah.
Like,
right. A former USC quarterback. He's been around for a while now. I have not seen Virginia play this year. I just haven't caught them. So hard to talk about them. But look, if you're trying to figure out a 12-team field, how many ACC teams are you putting in? How many Big 12 teams are you putting in? Like, we saw it last year. There's just not a lot of room with the respect that the Big 10 and the SEC are going to get. So 1 or 2 teams, and I think Miami's probably, unless things really fall off the rails with Carson Beck, probably entrenched as that top team coming out of there. But, you're going to be fighting with some teams, and, the 3rd and 4th Big 10 teams, the 3rd and 4th SEC teams for that second spot.
Yeah, I said it. The college football playoff rankings are a couple weeks away now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued to see what those initial rankings look like, because that's going to set the tone, right? Like,
yes, absolutely. And I always see it that leading up to that first rankings is like, oh, these don't matter. It's just the last ones that matter. Well, no, because I think the first ones are probably the second most important to the last
they
ones.
set the precedent for the rest of the season.
Right. And while they go each week and, supposedly tear up their bracket or their rankings and start over, it gives you a sense of what they, think about each team to that point. And obviously things change, but B, what they're looking for in those top teams, and kind of, you listen to them talk afterwards or whoever speaks, and it's, whatever things they bring up, whatever metrics, it changes every year. Like, what are you guys really focusing on for a good team? Is it wins against other ranked teams? Is it, offense, defense, those type of things? And so I think that first ranking is really interesting.
Isaiah, what's going on back there? You feeling good?
I'm feeling fantastic.
All right, you're taking over next. College Football Pulse. When we come back, it's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year, taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L's certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Delaware County Veterans Services, here for those who served. Located on the ground floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Delaware, our team of veteran county veteran service officers is ready to help you access VA benefits, emergency financial assistance, dental and medical grants, transportation, and more. Need a ride to a VA appointment, facing a financial emergency? Are you or your spouse simply looking for answers? Then give Delaware County Veterans Services a call. 740-833-2010 to schedule an appointment. Delaware County Veterans Services.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club. the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan.
Good evening, I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Former 11-year NBA player Damon Jones was arrested today amid charges that he allegedly disclosed privileged injury information about LeBron James to facilitate illegal sports betting. Jones was one of 34 people arrested, along with Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. This was part of a years-long investigation spanning nearly a dozen states, involving a wide ranging of incidents related to illegal sports betting and rigged poker games involving tens of millions of dollars. In other news, tonight in the NFL, the Minnesota Vikings visit the LA Chargers at 8:15. The Vikings have activated running back Aaron Jones from the IR for tonight's game. This update was sponsored by Behind the O. Buckeye fans, Behind the O is now in the App Store, free for fans, NIL for athletes. Download Behind the O in the App Store today. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
Hour number 2 of the program. We've got Stephen Means of Cleveland.com coming up at 7:30. He'll talk a little Ohio State football. But right now it's time to go around the rest of the college football world. The College Football Pulse with Isaiah. Let's get it going, man.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
All righty, fellers. Let's kick it off with coaching.
Fellers.
You like that?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
Former Alabama coach Nick Saban talking a little bit about some of these recent firings of high-profile coaches. He said he isn't surprised by the recent string of high-profile firings. He said, I'm not surprised because everybody's raising money to pay players. So the people that are giving the money think they have a voice, and they're just like a bunch of fans. When they get frustrated and disappointed, they put pressure on the athletic directors to take action, and it's the way of the world. Do you guys think this is fair of Saban?
I would say that argument is fair, and Pat and I were talking about it a little bit off of the air, and, the way that he has worded that makes sense, right? You've got all these people that are raising money for these programs, and they're big-time boosters, and when it comes down to it, they're providing money to these programs because they are fans, right? They're super fans, and that's why they're doing it for the most part. So yeah, there's added pressure. If you are somebody that's saying, hey, I'm giving money to this and I'm not seeing results, you're going to be upset and say, hey, let's get results. With that said, like we have seen some high profile firings here lately, the Billy Napiers of the world, James Franklin. It's time for those guys to go, in my opinion. Like, what are we really talking about here? James Franklin has not been able to get Penn State over that hump, and the expectation has seemingly risen year over year for Penn State. Just look at their record against, top 10 opponents. Look at their record against Ohio State and against Michigan. These games that, if they want to get to that next level, they need to be winning, that they're not. No, Billy Napier, just a couple of completely embarrassing, disappointing seasons at Florida. So while I understand the argument from Nick Saban and I can buy into it, I think we're looking at a couple of these situations. And yeah, it was time, because just kind of a bad taste around either one of those programs. Hey, if you're Penn State and you lose that game to Oregon, that's one thing. But if you come out back-to-back weeks looking horrible after that, I'd say that's a culture problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the system that we've put ourselves in college football. If you're going to go the NIL route, and I know we have revenue sharing now, but if you're going to ask these people to basically give money to pay players, they're going to want to have more of a say than they did before. And let's be honest, boosters were a big part of these decisions before NIL, right?
100. That's the thing. What's really changed, right?
I do think they have a bigger voice now because you can say, like, I laid down this much money.
Yeah, here is the $20 million I actually
do you
want to
see this again?
Yeah.
You know, those type of things. And before you could do that in terms of donating to the school and things like that. But I think he has a point. I just think this is the world that we're in. And I agree with you, Dylan. Like, it wasn't working for Billy Napier at Florida. I think the James Franklin one, you can make arguments either way. Like, if they hire somebody who doesn't win 10 games a year and still doesn't beat Ohio State or Michigan, well, now you're in a worse place than you were.
It's a failure
right?
then, right?
Yeah. So, I'll be interested to see how that plays out. I'll also be interested to see where James Franklin ends because that ESPN interview, he made it pretty clear he wants to get back into coaching and win a national championship.
That's one I'm very excited to see. I cannot wait to see where James Franklin lands.
All right, the next one this morning on the Pat McAfee Show, Kirk Herbstreit was asked of his thoughts on preseason rankings and how it impacts the committee's rankings later in the year. Using Clemson and Penn State as examples, even how the Buckeyes game against Texas will be perceived. Here's Kirk's answer.
I don't think anybody looks at Ohio State, at least I don't think the committee should look at Ohio State as an example, beating Texas and say, hey, they were the number, whatever they were, one or two team in the country. I think if you're sitting there on that committee, that's part of your job. And the reason we don't just rely on computers is for them to look at, okay, Texas is now down at 22. That win doesn't feel as heavy as it did in the opening week. I'm a fan of preseason rankings. I'm a Reds fan. You know, I see AJ talk. Baseball season is typically over for me, usually well before the 4th of July. So I'm jonesing for some news and some stuff to talk about. So if an AP poll comes out in the 2nd or 3rd week in August and gets us to get excited about college football, I personally have no problem with it.
So the preseason rankings, do you guys think they impact the committee? And also, should we just get rid of them? Is it time?
No, I mean, I think the preseason rankings mean something, right? You need to have an idea to start the season, and I don't mind that. And obviously, I think they're a little bit unfair in some sense because you're basing it off of what the team has done the year prior, even though the team could be completely different. Like, look at Indiana, for example, completely new quarterback this year. But I do think things get sussed out rather quickly, right? I don't think they have a tremendous impact for that reason. Like, as the year goes on, you know, one team beats another team beats this team. I know there's no transitive property when it comes to sports like that, not really. But I do think it gets sussed out relatively well when it all comes down to it. Do the preseason rankings have an impact? Maybe in some regard, but I don't think it is a dramatic impact or maybe as dramatic as it feels like, especially since we go to these college football playoff rankings now and it's hypothetically a completely different system.
I think there's two things here. One, should they be there and will they be there? Because they're not getting rid of it because of tradition. Like, you need to put a number by these teams' names to start the season because that's how college sports works, or at least college football, college basketball. Should they? I could see an argument for, hey, let's wait until week 3 to release the AP and coaches polls and give them some time. And the coaches poll, like, there's not much there. It's usually just an intern in the building filling that out for a coach. So I don't put much stock into it. But, I mean, look, when you see the college football playoff rankings come out, the next week, the AP and coaches poll basically reflect that. And so that tells you how much, like, weight this should carry. So I'm fine with them coming out. It gives me something to write about during the preseason. It gets something, fans excited or angry about, which to Kirk Herbstreit's point, like, that's college football content.
Good for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd also be okay, if you go a few weeks in and wait, like, that Ohio State-Texas game is going to be Ohio State-Texas, regardless of it's 1 versus 3. And I do push back a little bit on his point that, it is diminished, no doubt about that. Texas has not been what people thought. But, like, in that game, everyone healthy, like, is Arch Manning been the Heisman contender that everyone thought they would be? No. But I just think that that's still a good team, and you can't take away from, like, the mental preparation that you had to have for that game and everything that went into it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, too, where it does get sniffed out, like Dylan said. Like, we saw how Penn State and Texas and Clemson and some of these teams fell. It obviously didn't happen as quickly as we thought it probably should have. Like, there was a long time when Penn State was sitting at number 3 that people were like, I'm not so sure. But in the end, it all gets figured out. Next one here, the NCAA approved a rule change yesterday that will allow athletes and athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports. Allowing the new rule to go into effect November 1st, this doesn't change the NCAA's rules forbidding athletes from betting on college sports. This is only for the professional game. What do you guys think about this?
I think it makes sense, right? Like, I mean, you got to be careful. You always have to be careful because obviously with all the news that's come out today, like this gambling world and, you know, it being open up to athletes hypothetically now and people involved, you can't bet on the sport you play, et cetera, et cetera. There are different rules if, you know, you've signed a deal with whomever. But, I mean, you've got to be so careful, especially with these college kids where you're getting all this money now and there's NIL and you've got to be, it's dangerous, right? Like, you can lose a lot of money in this. I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Like, if I'm in college and I go to Ohio State and don't play a sport, I'm allowed to gamble on pro sports. I don't understand why, you know, somebody on the Ohio State football team wouldn't be allowed to gamble on pro sports. With that said, you've got, again, have to be careful because these guys have ties to a number of NFL players, NFL organizations. You know, information gets passed along. It's a slippery slope when it comes to that. But, you know, I think base level, if I'm a student at Ohio State and I'm allowed to gamble on sports, why can't somebody else gamble on professional sports if they are not a professional athlete in that sport?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said there.
It's just so dangerous,
yeah,
especially with
slope.
kids, man.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. And like, I didn't know this or I didn't know that. And one thing you do incorrectly. So I get it. I think, you know, these are kids. They have the ability to do it. I've always thought it's weird that, like, you can't do it in the facility, but you could do it down the street and stuff like that. But, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, be careful with all this. I mean, you're opening up cans of worms, and sometimes that's good. We say that usually negatively, and it's not always that way. So we'll see. But I agree with what you said.
I will say the real winners of this, and I have some of my buddies who work in different parts of athletics, like anything from ticket booths to anything that's a part of the team, and they're also not allowed to bet either. Yeah. So for them, like, some of my friends are super excited. They're like, finally, we've had all these meetings about how we're not allowed to gamble on professional sports, not allowed to bet on anything, and so now the guys that are working in the ticketing booths of the games, they can have some fun too on the weekends.
All right, I see that.
Let them live, right?
Yeah. I have a friend who works for the Bengals in, like, the media side of it, and she's not allowed to even, like, play fantasy football, I don't think. So,
yeah, I've heard about that in some organizations.
Yeah, and I get it, because, like, if you're going to say players, you kind of have to just include everyone, but it is unfortunate because, you know, and look, could she find out something that could influence what she's going to do by walking around the facility? Yeah, and I guess that's part of it. But, yeah, if you're in ticket sales, you know, if you're working the concession stands, yeah, I guess those people are volunteers, but you get my point.
Yep.
That's what we got, fellas.
All right. Fellers again, going right back to it.
You like it.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Thanks, Isaiah. We appreciate that. It's time for another break. We've got the Buckeyes on a bye. So, Pat, I've come up with my kind of question for you. This is something that you and I talked about last time, that I give deep thought to a Buckeye question.
All right.
And I just let you roll on it. So we're going to evaluate Ohio State through 7 games after the break. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. Just freak the hell out of someone. The Fan.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like, you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Parents, are your teens good with money?
No.
Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Give the gift everyone wants. Fun in your own game room. Billiards Plus has gifts for everyone. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, card tables, grills, and more. With professional delivery and installation, you'll beat the last-minute scramble. Reserve yours now. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access
to cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
This is Paul Keels for RV Wholesalers. Peace of mind, that's what you get when purchasing your next RV from RV Wholesalers. With every new RV purchase, Ohio residents receive the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. If your RV is in the shop, RV Wholesalers will give you a free loaner. Also with a Buckeye Service Guarantee, you'll receive free delivery in the state of Ohio and 3-day RV exchange. That's the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. Only at RV Wholesalers in Lakeview, Mansfield, Delaware, and RVW.com. RV Wholesalers, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Already prepping for next week's matchup? Get your best rest yet with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop Bob's and choose from pillows, soft, plush, dual feel, and extra firm mattresses with Bobopedic memory foam that will have you dreaming of game day in no time. So shop in store or online to score the latest and affordable luxury mattresses without the luxury price tag. Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
A little bit of sunshine, but breezy and cool and dry on this Thursday. Temperatures in the low to mid-50s. Overnight, we'll drop back down to the low 30s with a freeze warning in effect. And after a cool, crisp, frosty start, plenty of sunshine to finish the day. Light winds, temperatures back in the upper 50s. Temperatures falling through the 50s and 40s for your Friday night 1st and 10 high school games. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
What's going on, folks? Dylan Tyrer, Pat Murphy, Isaiah Jacob back with you. Coming up in just a bit, we'll have Stephen Means of Cleveland.com joining us to talk a little Buckeye football. And right now, Pat and I are going to talk some Ohio State football. Pat, Ohio State off to a tremendous undefeated start this season. I think, not just here in Columbus at this point, but really around the country, people are talking like this is Ohio State's national championship to lose this season. They're trying to go back-to-back. People are talking about how they look head and shoulders better than everybody else. I'm a little hesitant to go there right now. Right now, I need to see them play a little bit better competition at some point here. Like, I know Penn State is without Drew Aller, and they're in a weird spot right now, but I want to see the Buckeyes play Penn State, a potential Big Ten title matchup against Indiana. I'm intrigued by that. But the Buckeyes have looked really good. Defensively, I think they look awesome. There aren't many questions there. But I've been thinking, and I wanted to ask you, offensively, we've talked about a run game for Ohio State. Julian Sayin has looked tremendous. The weapons look tremendous. Max Clare, people had expectations this year, hasn't quite been there. So my question for you, what does Ohio State add offensively down the stretch? Or do they even need to add anything offensively down the stretch?
Yeah, the first thing you said with the run game, I think, is the biggest one, and I expect that that's a big focus. This week, Ryan Day even talked about it after the Wisconsin game, that is an area that they could use to improve for the stretch. And it's not even necessarily that I think they need it.
Because that's what I asked you last time. Right. I asked you, does Ohio State need a dynamic run game to repeat as national champions? And right. I don't think we were quite there the way Ohio State was there last year. We don't need that, and that's kind of where you're at.
Right. And I envision a time when either, let's just say you're in Ann Arbor at the end of November and the weather is bad and you have a second year, first time starting college quarterback who grew up in sunny Southern California. You can attest to that. That
what
might
are you
be
talking about? I love this weather.
I'm just saying, throwing the football around is going to be a little different. Now, CJ Stroud was here. He did it just fine in that weather. And maybe in Julian is fine. And you don't need the run game. But I think that could be a situation where, look, I hope they go up there and they are able to, get the ball to their weapons and they don't try and force the run like the last few years. But I think you will need it. Or you're in that game or one of these other games, and this could even expand to the postseason where you're winning and you need to sort of run out the clock or run time off the clock, a la at Penn State last year. Well, you're not doing that as effectively through the air as you are if you can pick up 4 or 5 yards each time on the ground. Now, I will say what they did last week in throwing to the running backs more, I think it was 9 total receptions by running backs last week, which I think Ryan Day, and this is something I wanted to ask on Tuesday, but it was a shortened press conference, so I didn't get a chance. I think he would call that sort of an extension of the run game. You basically bypass any offensive line issues. You bypass the running backs needing to decide what hole they have to hit. You get them the ball 4 or 5 yards downfield. There's a lot of space because you're covering these receivers and everything too. So maybe that is really how they get run game going is, hey, let's just, we'll spread everybody out. We'll take, get those receivers downfield, dump it to the running back 6-7 yards. Bo Jackson had 16 yards 3 times on catches last week. So potential there, but I do think the run game will be needed at some point.
Is that a 6-7 joke by you?
That was not.
Okay.
No.
Well, for all of our listeners out there that thought it was, sorry to disappoint.
I did, not to say that I know really all about that, but after the Wisconsin game, the SID Jerry Emig came in and said, we're going to make this quick. It's going to be like 6 to 8 questions. And I was like, 6 to 8? You mean 6-7? And he was like, I don't know what that is. It was pretty funny.
I love that. I want the chat to get involved here. And if you guys have a guy, go for it. Fire away. But another thing I've got for you, we've seen so many Buckeyes flash in really this first half of the season. I think Arvell Reese comes to mind. I saw an ESPN mock draft yesterday that had he and Downs going 5-6 in the NFL draft, where it's like, okay, Arvell Reese comes out of nowhere, and now he's a top 10 NFL draft pick potentially. Is there a guy that flashes for Ohio State in this second half of the season, or are there guys that you could see flashing, or have we seen what we're going to see?
I think there's still potential for offensively. You mentioned Max Clare, and I think he's got 4 or 5 catches in each of the last 3 games. So you're starting to see that. He could have a game where, just because of coverage, he gets 9 catches for 112 yards and 2 something like that. Brandon Inniss, we saw him catch his first touchdown of the season against Wisconsin last week. I think he's a guy who, say teams figure out how to take away the outside 2 receivers, maybe he has a couple big games. Defensively, like a Kenyatta Jackson, he was a lot of talk about him coming into the season and what he could be. Caden Curry's been really good. I think Kenyatta's been good. And he talked about this, he's more been a contained guy than a rush the quarterback guy all the time. He's also dealt with a couple injuries. So he's a guy I think that maybe by the end of the season, you're like, wow, he had a really good second half of the year. And even if it's not statistically and he just keeps doing his job, I think that's pretty good too. But I think for the most part, you've kind of seen, unless, knock on wood, there's injuries and you have to bring some other guys in. I think mostly you've seen kind of what this defense is, and the offense, I'm not sure how much you're going to change. Isaiah West, I guess, is a guy we saw against Wisconsin lead the team in rushing. Maybe that's an answer. He's a guy who has some wiggle and can make some guys miss. So there are some guys, but I think you're right. For the most part, you've kind of got what you're going to get with this team unless something changes.
All right, last thing. Since we're going to be talking to Steven Means here, and, I think Steven's got a big opinion on Julian Sayin at quarterback, and not to pat my own back here, but I was on the Sayin train early. I was like, I think this guy's the best. Yeah, I think this guy's the best quarterback in college football, and I think Steven is right there too. At this point in time, who's your Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, he's definitely in the mix. Fernando Mendoza, we talked about him earlier at Indiana. I think he is probably, I don't know what the betting odds are, but I would imagine he's at the top right now. So just because Indiana has relied more on its pass game, that's probably the direction I'd go. I think Dante Moore also in the equation, even with the loss. But yeah, I think Julian is right there, and I think the Buckeyes are going to lean into him throwing more. You saw it 40 sometimes last week. So he is, maybe 2 or 3 if you're filling out a ballot right now.
Craig in our chat says Bo Jackson should have a chance to flash a little bit more. If Ohio State can use Julian Sayin in the running game more, Bo himself could find more room to run. Is that a possibility in your eyes?
Yeah, I think so. I think Bo's been really good. I think you've seen him banged up the last couple weeks. So this bye week might come at a really good time, and he gets back healthy. And now you've got him, and if Isaiah West is going to get more carries and whatnot. So yeah, I think a healthy Bo Jackson definitely helps this team and can do some big things.
Do you see Julian being used in the run game at all? Because, he's been so hesitant, it feels like. We saw him tuck it a couple times in the game against Wisconsin. Like, is that a factor going down the stretch at all?
I think the fact that they ran a play where he had to read and he ended up keeping it himself, he made the decision to keep it, is a positive sign. And now defenses at least have to think about it. Is he going to run Justin Fields like? No. But I think he can do a little bit more like C.J. Stroud did against Georgia. But I also think there's probably Coach Day or Brian Hartline or Billy Fessler in the back of his ear or back of his mind being like, hey, we don't need you taking hits. So it's got to be smart.
Yeah, I get that. And I did like to see it in that Wisconsin game, like letting them know that that's part of it, because we really haven't seen it from Julian. And even when maybe he's had to run for a couple of yards, it's, hey, I'm going to get to the sideline and hopefully get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe pick up a yard or two from there. So I'm with you, where it's like we didn't see C.J. Stroud run hardly ever, and then that Georgia game, it's all over the place, and it's like, oh, okay, this is part of this guy's game, and really it looks kind of like what we see in the modern-day NFL, where quarterbacks, instead of throwing the ball away or forcing a pass, we see guys tuck it and run for 5, 8, 10 yards all the time now. I think that's the evolution. I get it. You don't want to take hits, but for me, that's what I want to see from Sayin.
Yeah, and I think more often than not, and this is the same with Stroud, like, you don't need it if you're Ohio State because you're better everywhere else.
Yeah.
But when you need it, it's good to know that he can do it and pick up those 8 yards like he did the other, even if it's 4 or 5 yards, and step out of bounds or slide or whatever, I think is can be really important in certain games.
All right. That's what Pat thinks. When we come back, we will hear what Steven Means thinks. He covers the Buckeyes for Cleveland.com and joins us after a break. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Loads and fees erode your retirement savings. Let us show you how to protect your nest egg. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Make your Halloween a good deal spookier at Meijer with frighteningly good low prices. Get 25% off costumes for you and your little creatures. Select varieties of Halloween candy are buy one, get one 50% off. And beautifully crisp 3-pound bags of Honeycrisp apples or half gallons of fresh from Meijer apple cider are buy one, get one for just $1. The selection and savings at Meijer are enough to make you go wonderfully batty. You see what I did there, batty? Halloween at Meijer. Always a ghoulishly good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Make this this your year? Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live, online, or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Happy to have you back with us as we get into really the final 30 minutes or so of the program. Dylan Tyrer, Pat Murphy, Isaiah Jacob with you. We just got done talking a little Ohio State football, talking about the quarterback Julian Sayin, and right now we're going to continue with that. Happy to be joined by Stephen Means, who covers the Buckeyes for Cleveland.com. Stephen, thanks very much for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right. I know you are a Julian Sayin guy. You wrote about it early this year. I think you've got it pinned to your Twitter profile right now. Julian Sayin, the best quarterback in the Big Ten, maybe even the country. I got to tell you, I was right there with you after watching Julian in that game against Texas. I said, the Buckeyes really got something here. What have you seen from Julian Sayin since then that has him firmly entrenched in the Heisman race?
I've seen the coaching staff let him go prove me right. I mean, the accuracy, the timing, the touch, the arm strength, right? We're dealing with C.J. Stroud level ball placement with Julian Sayin, and he's got the receivers to take full advantage of that. But, we saw all of that early. It was just in little bits and pieces because they were bringing him along slowly. And now that they've fully unleashed him against Wisconsin, and I guess we'll see what happens when they come back from the break here if they continue to do that. But I see no reason why this offense can't be as potent as it was with Dwayne Haskins in 2018, C.J. Stroud in 21 and 22, and even Justin Fields during that 2020 season where this passing attack is just a superpower that everybody else has to figure out how to deal with.
Since you wrote that, has anything about Julian even surprised you?
No, but in all seriousness, yeah, I would say the one place that's maybe surprised me is he's got a little juice to him as a runner. No, he's not Justin Fields. Nobody's Justin Fields, and he's not even Will Howard as a runner. But if you were wondering if he had any mobility to him, I think if you needed him to do what C.J. Stroud did against Georgia with his legs and maybe make some throws on the run, he has shown me enough that he can do that. I mean, you think about the throw he had to get to Carnell Tate against Texas when he's in the back of his own end zone. You think about the touchdown catch that Brandon Ennis just had last week against Wisconsin. He's shown he has the ability to do that. And I think that's all that's necessary. They don't need him to be a guy who's running the read option or QB power. This isn't J.T. Barrett's offense anymore. But can he buy time? Can he create plays with his legs? I think he's shown just enough to let me know that he can do that if the moment calls for it.
Stephen, what do you make of this run game and the struggles? I know Ryan Day's talked about efficiency and said it's been solid, but we all see it. What do you make of it? And do you think they need to have a more potent run game to get to where they want to go?
I think it needs to be explosive in terms of a threat, because if it's not a threat to be explosive, then everybody's just going to play too high safety and double Jeremiah and Carnell, and they're going to call it a day and make Ohio State dink and dunk it up the field and then prove they can score in the red zone, which has been so wishy-washy this year for Ohio State. It's got to have an explosive element to it, and maybe some of that is figuring out the personnel up front, right? I think most of us are maybe anticipating a switch at right guard between Tegra Shabola and Josh Padilla when play resumes next weekend against Penn State. I think the hierarchy is starting to form. It's the last day about that hierarchy. It's not there yet, and it's because they got so many young guys in that room with Bo Jackson and James Peoples. Now Isaiah West has added himself to that mix. And I know C.J. Donaldson's played a lot of football, but he hasn't played a lot of football at Ohio State, which means he hasn't played a lot of winning football when he was at West Virginia. So, but I think the personnel at running back will figure itself out by the end of the year. I think if they can solidify a starting five, which means making the tough decision of maybe having to pull a guy who has been a starter for 2 years for you with Tegra Shabola, and then you can start to execute some of those runs better. I think you'll see a more efficient run game, and that'll just lend itself to explosive run plays.
As far as it goes with Ohio State defensively, Stephen, have you seen enough from the pass rush to this point to feel comfortable going into the college football playoff or some of these meaningful games late in the season where obviously that is going to have to be a factor?
Yes and no. I think what we've seen is Caden Curry is on the Chase Young pace right now, and that's not saying he's as good as Chase Young, but if you go look at Chase Young's numbers through 7 games in 2019, they're not that far off of what we've seen from Caden Curry through 7 games this season. I think Kenyatta Jackson, we saw him get unleashed a little bit more against Wisconsin. Arvell Reese exists, and every NFL scout knows that now. But I think what we've seen is a lot of these first 7 games were against mobile quarterbacks where it was very obvious that the scheme was box a guy in, don't overextend yourself, contain a quarterback, and then let the linebackers finish it off when you're playing guys like Archman who can run. Damon Williams can run a little bit. Parker Navarro could run a little bit. I think the back half of the schedule doesn't have as many running quarterbacks. I know Nico can run it a little bit, and Bryce Underwood, I think we're all trying to figure out what he still is at Michigan. But it's not loaded with guys who are threats with their legs first over their arms first. So I think we might see this defensive line get unleashed to do a little bit more. And I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll have a better gauge of whether or not these guys can or can't get after the passer in a world where they're going to be able to get let loose on 3rd and long and a lot more opportunities than they did in the first 7 games.
When you watch Caleb Downs play, and obviously this is year 2 of him doing it at Ohio State, what do you see beyond the statistics, beyond some of the more obvious things that he brings to this defense that maybe doesn't get talked about enough?
He's out there playing chess. And really, obviously, he's very good once the ball gets snapped. But some of the stuff he does pre-snap, there have been a couple of moments where, Devin Sanchez, if you're around people who are around the beat know that I love Devin Sanchez at this point. But he's still a true freshman out there learning and going to make mistakes. And you can literally see there have been snaps this year in pre-snap where Caleb Downs is directing Devin where to go. He's directing a linebacker where to go. He's directing another safety where to go, a defensive tackle where to go. He's not the guy with the green dot. That's Sonny Styles, but he's like the pseudo green dot because when you have that much room to freelance as he has, and Matt Patricia talked about it in the preseason, his communication has to be on point. And if you ever just watch him in the pre-snap, it's almost more impressive watching what he's doing then. That IQ is just – he's a supercomputer out there. And the way he's able to play chess with offensive coordinators and quarterbacks, especially when you're dealing with young quarterbacks, that's almost more of a mismatch than anything he does once the ball gets snapped.
Stephen, we know how good Jeremiah Smith is. Carnell Tate has proven to be just an unbelievable threat himself this season. Down the stretch here, where does Ohio State go in terms of the number 3 receiving threat? Do you think we see more of Max Clare? Does Brandon Innes start to flash a little bit? What does that number 3 look like to you as we move on this season?
I think it's a game-to-game conversation. I think there will be some games where it is Max Clare and these tight ends. I think it'll be some games where it's Bo Jackson, C.J. Donaldson, and these running backs. And I think it'll be games where it's going to be Brandon Innes or maybe Mylan Graham or Quincy Porter get more involved down the stretch here. It's a weird world to live in because we're so used to Paris Campbell, KJ Hill, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Emeka Egbuka, Garrett Wilson for a year in 2020. That slot position has just been such a high usage spot for Ohio State for a literal decade and so. And so now that this year, all of a sudden, when you've got Julio Jones Jr. and Devontae Adams Jr. on the outside, the slot position isn't a staple. It isn't every week we're expecting this position to get 4 to 10 catches every single week anymore. Instead, now it's almost like this rotating thing, which I guess can be a good thing because it's a lot of things you have to game plan for. But I think there's no one singular number 3 receiver. I just think it might depend on the defense they're playing and what the game plan is. I think you might see all of those different factors get involved. But it starts with, obviously, those 2 at the top, and then every week somebody else is going to join them along for the party.
Do you think that there is any chance that Penn State comes in here next weekend and gives the Buckeyes a game, considering they don't have much to lose at this point?
I think if Penn State comes in here and makes this a game, I think it'll have to be, and I'm so serious about this, it can't be one or the other. It has to be both of these things. Penn State plays like it has nothing to lose, and they get that interim bump. But also Ohio State decides to mess around and treat this the same way they treated the Nebraska game coming off of a bye week last year. Like, that's the only – they got some talent over there, but this team is significantly better than the other team, and there's also the added motivation. I know Ohio State technically won the breakup with Jim Knowles, but everybody wants to stick it to their ex, right, whenever they see him out in public. So if they don't cover next Saturday, I don't want to, overreact and say, what does that mean about Michigan? But what does that mean about Michigan? If you can't, go out there and handle business and you make this something it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm curious to see what this looks like. I talked about it a little bit earlier with Pat that I'm with everybody in the country that I feel like Ohio State looks better than everybody else, but I want to see what they look like against another tough opponent. And is Penn State necessarily that? I'm not sure. I kind of pointed towards, I didn't even mention the Michigan game, but kind of pointed towards a potential Big Ten title game against Indiana. Something like that intrigues me, but I'm with you. I just do not see that happening next week for Ohio State with Penn State. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be close just because it's 2 brand teams.
Yeah, I get that. All right. Go ahead.
Well, just real quick, because you brought up that Indiana game, do you think that is where we're headed, and what does that look like in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis in your mind?
I don't know, man. I think Indiana is good, but this is also a different beast, right? And I think they've taken a step from where they were last year. I think they've got some talent. I think Elijah Surratt's a problem on the outside. I think D'Angelo Pons, with all due respect to what Jermaine and Davison are doing right now, I think that's the best cornerback in the Big Ten right now. Obviously, right now, Mendoza's the Heisman Trophy favorite, but I think that game is going to decide the number 1 seed in the playoff, and I think it's probably going to decide who wins the Heisman Trophy. And who would have thought Indiana would be on the other side of that coin, not Oregon? If you would have previewed this 6 months ago, let alone a month and a half ago, right? So I do think that's where we're headed. I think Indiana's got a pretty easy schedule in the back half. All of their tough games are kind of front-loaded. I think Ohio State's got a pretty easy schedule from an X's and O's standpoint. That Michigan game is not about football. It's about literally everything else that goes into rivalry games and whether or not Ryan Day is ready to get out of his own way or not, right? So from a football standpoint, I don't think there's any reason to believe that these 2 teams won't be 12-0 playing each other in Indianapolis. But from a culturistic standpoint, I mean, look, I think we've reached the point where until they do it, I don't think we can have faith that they can do it yet.
Yeah, I get that too. Steven, we appreciate you stopping by this evening, man. It was nice to chat.
Yeah, anytime, guys. Thanks.
All right, there you have it. Steven Means of Cleveland.com. He covers the Buckeyes, and that was great, Pat. I like talking to Steven there about some of the different opinions on Buckeye football.
Yeah, Steven does a good job at Cleveland.com. All those guys do, and Steven certainly has his opinions, and I say that in the most respectful way I can, because I love when you not only have opinions, but then you bring the information, bring the right attitude to back them up.
Well, my opinion is right now we are living in the perfect sports time. This is the best time of the year on the calendar for sports, and I will tell you exactly why coming up. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, 1 pound packs of Private Selection 80% lean Angus ground beef chuck are only $4.99 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Newman Roofing, as part of its 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to recognize individuals who have made an impact for people of all abilities. This week, we would like to honor Caitlin Brown. Caitlin has made an impact by creating the Handy Capable Kitchen, which raises money for Toys for Tots through her local Chili Fest. This Down Syndrome Awareness Month, Newman Roofing is proud to join forces with 10 TV and The Fan in celebrating our ongoing commitment to the community.
College. A time to broaden the mind, question, learn. A time to challenge the status quo. And eat a ridiculous amount of pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of The Ohio State University and the unofficial bank of pizza. Let's go Bucks! Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
Save big money when you shop at Menards. Highlight your home's beauty with outdoor wall lights from Patriot Lighting. Exterior lights enhance both the look and the security of your home. Shop a variety of style and finish options now at Menards. Save big money on all outdoor wall lights, in-store and online. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas, with Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Man, that's high praise right there. Best damn radio show in the land. I don't know. Brandon Beam out tonight, so no Beamer might not be the best.
That's why it's the best.
Okay, that's
This
fair.
is just to see if he's listening.
That's fair enough.
See if we hear from him.
Hey, I'm trying to do my best here. I'm Dylan Tyrer, Pat Murphy with me. Isaiah Jacob is our producer running things behind the scenes. Isaiah's been doing a great job back there. We had Andy Anders come on earlier to talk about some Ohio State basketball. The call dropped. Isaiah handled that seamlessly. Thank you, Isaiah. We appreciate it.
There's nothing like hearing a call drop as you're sitting behind the scenes and your heart just drops to your stomach.
Oh,
especially when I can just tell he's pacing around his room, and that's why his signal is like going in and out. I'm like, I just want you to stand still for a little bit. Just stand still. Don't move.
Imagine how Andy felt.
I know. It's fight or flight that moment. You're like, oh, boy, what do we do now? But, hey, handled it well. Appreciate that, Isaiah. I told you before the break that, I just love this time of year, man. It is perfect. We've got the NBA going on. I mean, we've got OKC and the Pacers going right now, 2 minutes into the first quarter on our TV. We've got Thursday night football coming up in a bit. We've got the NHL going on, college football. We've got, what else? College basketball coming up. The Buckeyes play this weekend in an exhibition against Ohio. And then, of course, we've got the World Series. That starts tomorrow. World Series between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. I guess that's the biggest thing going on right now, right? I feel like we don't talk about baseball nearly enough, and maybe it's because we don't have a major league team in Columbus, right? We've got the Guardians, we've got the Reds, and people get fired up about that. But this World Series is intriguing, right? You've got the Blue Jays, who have tons of firepower themselves. They're a fun team. They're the underdog, though, because you've got the Dodgers. Yeah. I talked about all the firepower on the Blue Jays, but you got Shohei Ohtani starting games, striking out 10 and homering 3 times. What the heck's going on there?
It's just nuts what the Dodgers have put together. And, I know there's some people out there that don't love Major League Baseball because of some of this. But if you just turn on the game and you just like to watch good, fun baseball, I mean, they definitely are. When they were playing the Reds early on, my fiance I think it was the game that they eliminated the Reds. She was like, wow, are the Reds that bad? And I was like, no, the Dodgers are just that loaded. Yeah. And it's just absurd.
It's like all-star after all-star in their lineup, and you're like, oh, well, this guy's not playing well right now. It's like, well, he could break out this game. Like, right. Mookie Betts could just go crazy this game. Well, who's hitting after Mookie Betts? Oh, it's another all-star.
Well, and Ohtani, he wasn't hitting well and then hits those 3 home runs that you're talking about. Funny enough, we were in Wisconsin. We were in Madison the night of that game, and so we were watching it at a bar, and just 6 people just got up and left. I don't even know if they paid their tab. And I was like, did you really think you were knocking off the Dodgers? Let's just be honest here.
Just so mad about it.
Yeah, they were very upset.
All right, so who do you guys have in the World Series then? Give me who and how many games.
I'll lead off. I think it's going to be the Dodgers in 6. And I also was reading earlier this morning, something that was really interesting to me about Shohei is obviously when he got his contract, everyone was going crazy, humongous, but the Dodgers have already reportedly made back the money for his entire contract because of, obviously all the sponsorships and all the ticket sales, everything. You think about how much money he's bringing in. And so when you look at all the other, I'm a Guardians fan, you look at all the other franchises and you're like, why couldn't we just sign him so that we could have also made the money back? But I'll take the Dodgers. Shohei's doing things that literally no MLB player has done before. The other night when he hit the 3 homers and pitched for 6 innings and gave up essentially nothing, that's just unbelievable to watch.
He's a video game. That's what you create a player in the video game, and that's what you hope to do, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
Who do you have?
I have the Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers in 5. All right. Well, I'm going to take the Blue Jays in 7 just to change it up here. Yeah, let's root for an underdog story, right? And my day job's
not who I'm rooting for. It's just who I think will win and in how many games.
My day job's in hockey, so I got to support the Canadian team, right? Well, speaking of local teams here, the Blue Jackets, they're getting going. They're not in the playoffs yet. The Crew is in the playoffs right now, and we have a rematch of Hell is Real.
Yep.
FC Cincinnati versus the Crew to start off the playoffs here. We've got Monday in Cincy. They come back Sunday in Columbus, and then what is it? If there's a game 3 needed, it's the following Saturday, you told me?
Yes. Yeah, it would be the following Saturday in Cincinnati. So
give us a little taste here. What do we need to know going into Hell is Real?
Yeah, it's a weird time to have this because the Crew come in pretty banged up. They finished actually because they won and other results went their way in the final day of the regular season. They moved up to the 7th seed in the East. 9 teams make it, including the 2 wild card teams that played on Wednesday. So they avoided the wild card, but they face Cincinnati. I've talked to a bunch of people, and it's either some people view it as look, we've had Cincinnati's number in the playoffs before. They beat them in 2023 in Cincinnati to go to MLS Cup, and they won that. My philosophy is I don't know if you want to play your rival in a playoff series when you're pretty banged up. The Crew have their top two forwards did not play in the last game. Hopefully at least one of them is back for this series. They have gotten a little bit healthier. They've started playing better, but they really slid. They were about the 3 seed in the East, for most of the season, and things kind of fell off when the injuries hit. So, look, it's the playoffs. Last year, the Crew went in, best regular season they've ever had, and lost in this round to the New York Red Bulls, who ended up going on kind of a magical run to the MLS Cup final. So things can happen. Again, there's been some wild games between these two teams in a short span, so it should be fun. I'm going down there Monday night. We'll see how that affects me being at Ryan Day's press conference on Tuesday. I will be there, but in what state? But it should be fun. I'm excited. They're doing credit to the front office. They are. I don't know if they're paying for it or how it's, but they've basically got 2 buses, I think, going down to Cincinnati for free for the fans. So that'll be a fun time.
That's sweet. Is there a spot that's the go-to pregame around TQL, or is it a parking lot deal? Like what are we talking here?
Yes, there is a bar, and I'm not sure. It's always been open for Crew fans when we've gone down there in the past. I assume it will be the case. I'm trying to think of the name of it off the top of my head. I don't remember what it's called, but it is right by the stadium. It is the one with all the black and gold. It's not hard to find. I will say this, that Cincy's bar they go to is directly across from the stadium. It's called The Pitch. It used to be just like a building with, I don't know what it was, but it's really cool in there. Give credit where credit is due. But yeah, if you look on Crew socials, there'll be information if you're going down there, I'm sure.
All right. I like that. Cincinnati, it's a good area down there.
Yeah, it's fun. Over the Rhine and all that.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah, that's another thing with it being a Monday game. We don't get usually I go down with a bunch of friends. We get an Airbnb in that area, and we, go out before and afterwards. So we don't really get that much.
Not as fun for you this time around. It's a business trip, as they say, right? You want to go down there, do business, get a win, get back to Columbus.
Yeah, that would be great, assuming they win. I believe my fiance texted me, so she must be listening. She said Cornerstone is the name of the bar. I'm double checking that because
you want to get it right.
It's either Cornerstone or Cobblestone. It's one of those things. It's very close to that.
Oh, good on her for the pull right there and saving your bacon, right?
Yeah, she does that a lot, to be fair.
All right, Isaiah, what are you fired up about in these last we got a minute here, so what are you fired up about at this time of year sports-wise?
I love the Cavs. I'm glad they're underway. Watching their game last night, obviously they fell to the Knicks, but I'm just overwhelmed right now. It's hard to keep up. I'm someone, I like to be all in. And so for the Cavs, if I'm watching the Cavs, I want to be all in on it. I want to watch every game. And so it's the same thing with the Blue Jackets, same thing with Ohio State. I can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It makes for bad radio.
All right, I get that. But you gotta be up to date on everything, right? It gives us a lot to talk about this time of year.
I'll put a foot in the shower. I'll get a foot in there, and then 12 have a little bit of info.
12 screens, iPads, phones. The bar is called Cobblestone. It's in OTR.
All right, there you have it. Well, thanks for being with us, everybody. We appreciate it. Pat, Isaiah, great job. I always love being with you guys. Coming up next, Thursday night football. It's the Vikings and the Chargers. This was the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Do you feel the nip in the air? Oh, baby, people think summer's driving season. They're wrong. You spend more time in your car this time of year taking your dirty, annoying kids to dirty, annoying things. Go see my friends at Germain Lexus. They have special rates as low as 4.49% on their most popular models, including the 2026 TX350. Lease a 2026 NX for as low as $449 per month. And if new isn't your thing, they have plenty of L's certified inventory on the lot. Stop in and see them. Germain Lexus of Dublin and Easton, GermainLexus.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at RunyonDentalGroup.com. That's RunyonDentalGroup.com.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, portfolio. Visit our website at townwithane.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in. Like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors that get the job done right. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Find your local Kubota dealer at BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com.